Hi guys, Alex here, and today let's find out what tickled my pickle this week. Today we have a whole range of weirdness going on. We have resurrected dead people, people turning into AI, we have American kids learning English. That will be fascinating. So let's see what all of this is about. We have more news in stock, and let's get to the first one. We'll start light and then escalate to the absolute weirdness as we go deeper into the episode. Starting with American kids learning English. Sounds weird enough, but actually it is the kids, the tiny ones that watch Peppa Pig, and in the pandemic when parents literally had no more patience with their kids and they just shove an iPad into their face. Questionable parenting practice, but I'm not a dad, so I cannot compare notes, so let's not judge those wonderful parents that they're doing the best that they can. So they shove the iPad into the kid's face and show them Peppa Pig. Kids are amazed, love it, watch it, and don't disturb parents, which is the most important part, of course. But the side effect of it is that the kids start to speak with an English accent, well, British accent, which is kind of hilarious when you have little Americans walking around speaking in British English. Kind of funny. To the next one. Next on our list is Pentagon trying to hack itself. Nothing too exciting here, to be honest. We have just Pentagon employing AI to fight itself. So one AI tried to hack Pentagon, another one tries to protect itself, and in this way they learn what is the best strategy to protect yourself from pretty much anything that comes to cybersecurity. The problem is the main threat is not the outside, but the inside. It's the people that fuck up, because we're lazy, we don't want to remember huge passwords, we're naive from time to time, and we are susceptible to scams, of course. So no matter how good your AI gets, the problem is that if people keep fucking up, which they will, because we're people, we all fuck up, there's nothing that can save you, even if you're Pentagon. But hopefully something interesting will come from it. They are kind of worried that by doing this, they will create some sort of a AI that can hack pretty much anything. And that kind of sounds pretty cool, if you ask me, as long as it's in the right hands. But obviously, when did USA ever did anything to hack innocent people? Never, not once, of course. To the next. Next on our list is PlayDate. It's this thing that retails at $179 at the moment. You can pre-order it, 150 quid if you're British, right lads? And why? It's like a little toy console that you have with you when you want to waste a few minutes of your time. First of all, I think we have enough of shit that we're wasting our time with anyway, like Instagram, Facebook, you name it, any social media. Like if I open bloody YouTube Shorts, thank you Daronishev, that's the guy who created YouTube Mobile, literally hours can go past. It's just, I don't need another device for 179 quid. They have my attention for free. Anyway, so this device, the only cool feature about it is the color. It's quite cool, and it has a little crank that you can play with. So basically in the game you can crank the crank and it does something, which is pretty cool. But the device is not, the display is not backlit, so you can play at night, and you have to carry it with you to play games on it. There's about 24 games available at the moment, and the question is, like, you have a smartphone, just use that for any game that you want, literally, or you have PSP, or you have Nintendo. Just do it. Like, why? If you're one of those people that want one, please tell me in the comments below why. I would love to know, and maybe you'll convince me I'll get myself one. Because it's so absurd to me that I'm like, why would you need one? But if you're there and you're saying some valid points why you would have one, I might consider it. Anyway, so check it out online if you want to. I'm not going to leave a link. Google it yourself. And let's get to the next one. Next news, self-driving trucks get much more investments than self-driving cars. Perhaps not too surprising because the self-driving truck is like a breakthrough for any transport company because it will save so much money, as at the moment to have a truck on the road, you have to pay the salary to the guy, which is a lot of money, and you can only drive for like 12 hours at the time. And with self-driving truck, it's free basically, and you don't have a limit on time. It can drive 24/7, which is exactly what you want. So that sounds pretty awesome, and I can't wait that in the next 10 years or so we'll have self-driving trucks. It will drive the cost of things down, I think, by maybe about 50% in terms of transport costs. So that'll be super exciting to see. Of course, it sucks that a lot of people will lose their jobs, but it's the world. You have to live with the change, or either change or be changed, as it were. So hopefully they will find something else to do. I'm sure they will, and we will enjoy a little bit cheaper goods, which is about time, as I'm filming this in London and shit is expensive. Jesus. Anyway, to the next news. Next on our list of news is Boanthropy. Boanthropy. Summer ones. Next thing on our list is Boanthropy. What it is a psychological disorder which makes you think that you are a cow. Not a joke. So if you see somebody somewhere at some point, for whatever reason, going on all their fours and start eating grass, it's unlikely that it's Boanthropy because it's super rare. Probably the person is a vegan. Ha! Pun intended. But in all reality, it could be that they have Boanthropy, so be considerate. It is a disorder, so as being a vegan, so also be considerate. Just kidding, vegans. But if you have something to say to me, go in the comment section below and just explode it. Or not, who gives a shit? To the next news. Next news, we'll spend some time on it because it's super interesting. So we have some guy called John Aegis, which is a developer, and this John guy developed a game called Heal Hitler. The premise of the game is that you are a psychiatrist and you're trying to help Hitler, right, to solve his complex psychological issues so he becomes a good person and not a fucked up individual that killed a lot of people for no fucking reason. So interesting approach to the problem, because you have that stupid question all the time. It's like, if you could go back in time, would you kill Hitler? And everyone's like, yes, I would fuck that guy. Truth be told, probably you would end up in worse shit than we are in right now, because you just don't know how things affect, the butterfly effect, killing such a big figure in the 1900s, I meant. You just don't know how it's going to impact the world. But this idea is pretty interesting, is that you could change his mind to be a better person and maybe prevent the genocide, and maybe he'll put all this effort and energy into changing the world for the better. That will be super awesome. Interesting to see. So probably we'll play the game and see how it is. Sounds interesting. The guy itself said that he spent a lot of time researching Hitler's psychology and all the reports and all of those things, and should be a pretty interesting game and quite realistic as well. A lot of people lost their shit and they just like got angry at the guy, like, how dare you? You don't understand Hitler, it's like genocide, how could you? Try to explain him, and it's like, chill. No one explaining anything, it's just a game. The guy, who no one heard of beforehand, by the way, probably thought of an idea to hype himself up, which he did, and kudos to him, because everyone is talking about him now because of this game. But it is an interesting approach to the game, so don't be a sheep, be open-minded and look at things from different perspectives. If you want to find out more about those times and kind of why people did what they did, if you're not an ignorant person, I recommend reading this book. It's called Ordinary Men. I warn you, it is a heavy read. It's super difficult. I got about halfway through this book and I just don't have the stomach to do the rest. It is fucking horrendous. Beautifully written, but the shit in there is just scary. So if you want to have a read, if you want to play a game, if you hate everything that I said, comment below. If you didn't, hit the like button, and we're moving to the next news. Yeah. Next up is a fucked up news. We have a guy 29 years old in prison in Spain. He is just sitting there in his cell, not moving for a while. People get suspicious, and 2 doctors go in to check out what's going on. And boom! No, nothing happened. He's actually dead. 2 doctors look at him like dead meat. Forensic doctor comes in because it's good enough that the prison doctors checked it, which is fair enough, but you need a forensic kind of third opinion to make sure he's definitely dead and it's not some sort of trickery. Confirms that he's dead. So 3 doctors so far told this guy is done. So they put him in a bag, ship him off to the morgue, and drew all the things on his body, you know, the guide marks to where he'll be cut. Close him up in a bag so he doesn't whatever. I don't know why. And he was just laying there on a table in a closed bag. And literally about like 2 hours before his autopsy, where basically a guy would cut him open, he wakes up and starts to move around in the bag and starts to kind of like, oh, what's going on? The pathologist, I think that's what the guy called, is there probably like shitting himself because it's like, you're dead and I'm literally just about to cut you open.
Can you press lobby, please?
Ow! 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 Doug! Why are you hitting me?
Dead people should be dead.
But turns out the guy had a illness that's called this. I don't remember what it is right now. And basically what it does is it can cause a seizure if you don't medicate and if you don't eat properly. It will cause a seizure that makes you look like you're dead. Doctors knew about it because he was on medication. So how the fuck 3 doctors looked at the guy, probably looked at his medical history and like, yeah, he's dead. My explanation, it was Spain. It was about 5 minutes before siesta and doctors were like, fuck it, he's dead. Let's go and watch football or whatever it was. They just didn't give a shit. Could well be, again, as I mentioned, where people will make mistakes. But thankfully the guy is alright. No permanent damage was done to him. No damage, except psychological, of course, was done to him at all. So he's okay. And he's back in prison in the extremely violent court because he did some violent things. So I wouldn't feel too bad for him. To the next news. Next up is something very weird. We have a guy who resurrected his girlfriend, his fiancée, in AI. There is a software called Project December. It is developed by OpenAI, sponsored by Elon Musk. Of course, who else? The greatest man ever to live on this earth. Well, one of for sure. And they developed an algorithm called GPT-3, which is a language-based AI. And basically what it does, it reads text and then can reproduce something similar or can develop something new in that field. So for example, you feed a couple of research papers to him and it will write another research paper based on these two. Or if you feed him your messages and some background info on your fiance, it will talk to you as it was her. I kid you not. And the guy was doing it for about 6 months, I think, 7 months, after his fiance died. That is fucked up. It's fucked up not that he did it, but that you can do it it's 2021. I honestly thought the technology is about maybe 10-15 years away, but apparently not. So you can get a realistic chatbot of your loved one if they passed away and you have some amount of messages between you two to speak to this person as they were real. That is scary. I'm not gonna judge the guy because I probably would want to do the same if I lost the person that I loved, but it is scary that you can do it. Something for you to know. If you want to check out this project, link here, there, somewhere around here. This has been it for what tickled my pickle this week. I really hope that I tickled some of your pickles, and if I did, please hit that like button if you liked this video. If you didn't, hit the dislike button, fucking destroy that bitch, because you have to show how you feel about something. If you want to leave a comment down below, please do. That'll be super exciting. Engagement count, and I will answer you. So that's been it. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.
We gotta make them right, chillin' with mine. We triple up, they on a double up, triple dub. Came from the basement, we only going up. They loving us, up in the booth, I'm getting dizzy, but they the cup is up. Toast to my people that's on the come up, and you live with us.